Hello, and welcome back to Amateur Philosophers Play Games. I'm Noah, the host.
I'm Justin, the gamer.
And this is the show where we play video games and discuss philosophical ideas, problems, and philosophize about random topics. So, Justin, thank you for coming on with me today. But did you really choose to come on? Did you choose anything? Do you have the free will to choose anything? Yeah, we're talking about free will.
Yes, so that is the topic of today, is free will. What is it, and why do we have it, and if so, does it matter? So I know I have a thought experiment for you. As philosophers, we love thought experiments.
We do indeed.
Let's say you are going to try to enter a building. You know, you believe you have, like, assuming you think you have free will. You try to enter a building. Turns out there's two doors, one on the left, one on the right, and you choose, or you believe you choose, to go in through the right door. It opens and you enter the building. Unbeknownst to you, the left door was actually locked. Did you have a choice? Did you choose to enter through the right door?
Yes, I say with a question mark at the end.
Doesn't seem like you did. It seems like you had to go through the right door. You couldn't have chosen to go through the left.
Let's compare these thought experiments. So, scenario A, you go through the right door and enter the building successfully. Scenario B, you attempt to go through the left door. The door is locked, so you move to the right door. Are scenario A and scenario B different? I think is the important distinction here.
Well, the distinction is that in one scenario, you believe, oh yes, I can... What, is this guy gonna fight me? Does he not realize who I am?
Don't fight him. Just walk around. Just walk around.
Nope. No. He wants to square up.
You also, and you can't hurt NPCs.
I know you don't. I was just thinking that as I was hitting him. I was like, oh yeah, I can't hurt them. Lame. What kind of free world is this? See, look, Link. Do I have a choice? Could I have?
Exactly.
Could I have...
You know what? Sure, we're gamers here. Let's use the gaming comparison. So you had two possible scenarios: either just walk away and don't fight him, or B, attempt to fight him, realize you can't, and then walk away without fighting him. Are those two? Did you make the choice to not fight him in scenario A?
Exactly. The question is, did I make the choice to not fight him? And it's like, well, really, no. Quick, get the club! Get the club! Get the club!
Yay!
Grab the club. All right. Now go light the club on fire and get out of here, because this is where I died last time.
Yeah.
How do I run again? Sorry, B. Okay. Run away. Run far away. Oh wait, it's raining. I can't.
It's going to be very hard to carry an open flame across the fields in the rain. This is true. I mean, you could just go do something else, like walk around and look around the shrine, or like you could follow the quest marker on your map.
I could. Well, I think the quest marker is having me light the fire, isn't it?
Is it? I don't think so. Go check. We'll find out.
Okay. Well, anyway,
so
free will. So did I choose to not fight him? It seems like I did. It seems like I chose to try and fight him, but I didn't have the option to fight him. That wasn't a real option.
Yeah.
There was no decision on my part as to whether or not I would fight him.
Yes. So if you're taking a results-oriented point of view, then you were not free. But if you're taking a let's say choice, not results, intent. That's the word I'm looking for. If you're taking an intent point of view, as in what did you intend to do, yes, you did have a choice. Does that make sense? And I think that is important to make a distinction between intent and results, because, like, for example, our legal system makes a very different. Intent is very important. For example, if you accidentally kill someone, it's a lesser charge than if you intentionally kill someone. We call that murder. So intent is very important, even if the result is identical.
Right, but the question here is, do you have a choice? Because free will is the ability to choose, correct?
We should probably define what free will is, actually.
All right, well, okay. I was worried about that because I was thinking that we would spend the entire episode talking about what free will is. Because, like, we like to do that. We like to be very platonic and think, like, oh, you don't know what that means. You don't know what that means. So, but yes, okay, we can take a minute. To me, free will is the ability to do something rather than something else. It is the ability to, well, choose. Like, if I wanted to do this, I could, like, I am able to do it.
So you're, all right, so let's make this thought experiment a little more concrete, I think. Well, I don't know about concrete, but a little more cut and dry. So if you're saying if a person is tied up in prison, they do not have free will. They do not have free will for many things. For example, they don't have free will to leave.
You could say, let's see, free will. They don't have the freedom to leave, and
they don't have the freedom to
will.
Leave, yes.
Okay, so I'm thinking out loud here. So they don't have freedom for sure, because that's what we would say is like the ability to leave. We would call that, the freedom. They would restrict their freedoms. Their will is what they intend to do or want. So then, yes, I would say that person has limited free will. Some other power is controlling what they can and cannot do. Regardless of what they want.
Yeah. So I think that's important to make a distinction, because you were talking about this prisoner has limited freedom, like physical freedom, but the will, even the word will comes from, it's a mental term. It's your desires or intentions. This prisoner's intentions are still unbound, if that makes sense.
I see what you're saying. So like they still want those things, even if they can't have them.
Yes, they can still choose to want these things, even barring let's say unusual circumstances like mind-altering substances or mental conditions.
I was gonna say hypnosis, but okay.
Yeah, hypnosis. Barring unusual mind-altering situations, which I don't think people usually consider those in the basic definition of free will, but barring those, your will and your desires are not typically bound by your physical state, let's say. Now, they're often influenced. For example, if I, let's say, live in a place and I've never heard of ice cream, I probably don't have a desire for ice cream. But because I have, even if right now I don't have the ability to go get ice cream because I'm recording with you, I can still say I would like to go get ice cream.
True. So, but if it turns out that they're okay, so you can say you would like to do that. So you can have the intent.
All right. So yeah, let's. I think we got step one. We can agree, intent and desire are not bound by physical reality, or not entirely bound by physical reality, at least.
Yeah, I think so. I think I could say that I can want things that don't exist. That seems. Yes.
Right.
Okay.
So, now the more interesting.
I've got 2 sticks. Let's see if I can make it. Can I run with the fire?
Probably, as long as you don't put it away. That's a leaf. I don't. Well, I mean, see what'll happen.
Try it.
That thing. Oh, you can. Nice.
Haha! Nope, I cannot run.
You cannot run. You will have to gently walk to the next thing.
I feel like Aang going to meet the dragons.
Oh, that's not that deep a cut, but still. So yeah, So what exactly is free will? It seems like the idea of free will is sort of a hazy combination of intent plus action that can be completed.
I think it would be exactly. I think the free will would be the having the intention and then executing that intention.
Right. So. So you're saying free will also requires the physical freedom as well as the mental freedom.
Okay, wait, okay. I lit them up here. Is there another one up here that I'm missing?
I think that's like circle, one of those things maybe? Like maybe that circle on the ground you have to touch the fire to? Or is there a... Oh no, is that a... Oh, well.
Well, it broke, but now I need to find it.
I think is there a forge somewhere around here? Like you need to catch something on fire. Is it around the back? No. Hey.
Pitchfork. Yay.
Stole his pitchfork from this innocent research lab.
Yep. Because that's what heroes do.
That's what heroes do. Steal farming implements from random people so they can fight gods. I guess Ganon's not a god, but whatever. So yeah, so we're saying free will for our discussion requires both mental and physical ability and freedom. Is that right?
I think so, because otherwise, like, I mean, you can, like... I think so. I think...
Okay. Well then, in that case, I think it's fair to say...
The question the thought experiment poses is, if you choose something, but you don't have an option, did you really choose that? It seems like you didn't. It seems like you were forced to do it.
Right.
You have to do it on your own fruition? Is that the word? Mm-hmm. That's a word, right?
Yeah, sure. I don't know if it exactly means that, but there's a word.
And the question is,
I suppose.
Can you? Is it still free will? Oh, there we go. I lit something on fire. I did it!
Yay! I think you can now fast travel to here.
Yes, this is travel gate.
Very cool.
Ooh, yeah. I did all that for a travel gate.
Probably put your thing away. Yeah. I think go inside now and talk to the person.
Just go inside. All right. Anyway, so yes, well, for instance, like Link, you could say, yeah, I have a choice in the Link has his choices in the game, but he doesn't really, right? The game is less railroaded, but it's still railroaded. If you want to to complete the game, you have to do stuff. Like, there are certain things you have to do.
Yes.
The game, I guess that's part of it, is that before you enter the building, before you choose left or right door, it is predetermined which door you will enter in. Like,
is it? I see what you're saying. The result is, you're saying the result is predetermined.
Yes, you have to go in. You cannot choose otherwise.
I see what you're saying. So I agree with you. The end result is predetermined, but is what happens previous to the end, like the second to last thing, also important in just figuring out if you had an option or not?
I don't think so. Because, I mean, if you put it in terms of the bigger question of free will, like, we're both Christians, whether or not you will be saved, is that predetermined? Who will go to heaven, who will not go to heaven?
Election versus, what's the... Calvinism versus Arminianism is... That's a very interesting topic. I don't think we can just slide that into free will, because it's a whole nother boat, because we're dealing with the will of God with that. Let's stick down with the will of humans for now. I think that's all we can handle at the moment.
I mean, I agree it's a big topic and it would take a lot, but like it's the same kind of like that's really the implication of the argument is that can you choose something? If you can choose something, well then okay, that's great. We have free will. But if everything is predetermined, then that means a bigger thing. So whichever way you argue is like implies how you will argue on the bigger scale.
Right. Which again.
Okay, wait, hold on, wait.
The reason I'm
can take pictures. It's a camera. Okay.
It's basically a tablet.
I don't care. This is I am.
It's mad. It's. Well, I don't actually think it's magic. I think it's like technology. That's basically it's magic. Okay. It's video game magic. Don't question it.
All right. Anyway,
I think this lets you. This gives you access to a camera. Nice.
Nice. I can now take pictures of me dying, because that's probably what I'll do. Oh wait, no. I remember. Jerry did this. Jerry, I remember this. I have to go find these places.
Yeah, they're like your memories, and also you can also take pictures, I think.
But I gotta find those places. That's what.
Yeah. If you want to remember who you are. Oh, this is neat. This also, I think it like either vibrates or hums or something if you're close to a shrine, which is real helpful for finding those shrines that are like buried underground.
Okay. So, wait, shake my remote, because remember, I can't hear them.
We'll find out, I suppose.
Okay. All right. Anyway, so free will.
Anyways, so I was saying I want to stick away from the salvation one, because that incorporates God and the fact that God is, God knows the future, whereas we don't. So let's stay away from that one for now. We'll come back to it probably in a future episode, but let's stick back with entering doors. I think that's a little more little easier to handle.
All right. Well, here's another tidbit that might help you, might raise your skepticism.
Okay.
So, let's see. Take a picture with the camera. Oh, and apparently I have to let her see it. Okay. So there was some research done.
You can take a picture inside.
Oh, I guess I can. I didn't know she wanted me to take the picture now. Okay. How do I do this?
It would be one of your runes. Yeah.
Nope. That's a nope. There we go.
What do you think?
There we go. Save. Woo. Okay. Anyway, so there was some research done a few years ago.
Yes.
And how do I put this? Basically, imagine a circle, or you know how like there's that arcade game where the light goes around and you have to stop the light exactly on one point.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Right. Imagine that only the contestants were told, stop it whenever you want. Like, just choose when to stop, like, the circle from spinning.
Okay.
And they had, like, electrodes or stuff, like, plugged into their heads. And they found that 6 seconds before they remember making the conscious decision, I'm going to stop it now, or when it gets to this point, I'm going to stop it. 6 seconds prior, their unconscious brain had already said that's when they were going to stop it.
Okay.
So even though they thought they were making a conscious decision of, okay, I'm going to stop it now, they weren't. Okay.
Well, is the assumption you're making here is that the unconscious doesn't have free will, which I don't know about that. That's an interesting idea, but you're right. When we talk about free will, we usually talk about the conscious mind and the conscious choice. So, I mean, that is an interesting study. Did the study claim that this is true of literally everything you do, or only in these certain controlled conditions? Because that's a small thing.
I think it was just kind of an implication that. She says it has to be centered. I tried to center it. Is that centered? That looks pretty centered to me. Okay. Good. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I think it was implied that it just raised the question of, okay, everyone thought they said, I'm going to stop it now. But before they said that, their mind had already determined that they were going to stop it at that point. They were I know you don't want to bring it in, but they were almost like predetermined to stop it there.
No, because even if you want to say that, they were still determined by their own mind, correct? They weren't determined by the cosmic, or the study's not claiming they were determined by the cosmic jigsaw puzzle fitting together or something, right?
I mean, that's true. But the question, the thing is, when you usually don't say that your unconscious mind is you. When you do something unconsciously, if you have an unconscious thought, usually you aren't accountable for that. We don't blame you for that.
I mean, your unconsciousness is your subconscious is part of you. I think, right?
I mean, I agree. I think it's definitely part of what makes you up. This gets back into, Ship of Theseus, what are we?
Oh,
but no. I feel like, I don't know, if you have an unconscious bias, usually people aren't you should be condemned for that unconscious bias. You should recognize it and you should do attempts to change it, sure, because it's bad. But you aren't held, accountable for it because you don't have control over your unconscious. It literally means, unconscious means you don't have control.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So if your unconscious mind determined, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you did it, you weren't the one able to control that.
Well, okay, sure, but then we have to ask the question, why did the unconscious mind determine that?
Exactly. This goes back, and that gets into the, the torch. I could have used this.
I think this is a side quest. You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Oh. Well, wait, I thought the glowing things were...
It is, but real quick, open up your menu or something. You can, right there. Not that one. The one you had before. Yeah. So you can switch which quest you want to do, and it's you're on side quest right now, so you could switch to
Oh, so this is the main quest?
No. Click right on one of the control sticks. No. Sorry, left.
This one?
That's a shrine quest. And then, see, this is the main quest. So if you want to...
Oh, destroy Ganon. Yeah. Main quest.
The main quest. So, for example, whichever... So, if you go back over to the left again, whichever quest you've chosen, that's the one that shows up on your minimap. So, right now, the two main quests you would be going for right now are either freeing the divine beasts or finding your memories. So, I think for the locked memories, actually, you need to go back and talk to someone else before you can really accept that. But, yeah.
Let's try doing this one, though.
So now there's...
Okay. Now there's 4. Okay, don't fall off the cliff. That would be bad. Okay, anyway, so... What makes the unconscious mind choose that?
You tell me.
Well, I don't think we can answer that.
We should get our psychologist.
Kevin.
Yeah. With
what is the unconscious?
What is the unconscious? But since we're philosophers, not psychologists, although psychology is probably a branch of philosophy, just like everything is. But we're not psychologists here. We don't have. I don't have any formal training on that. Do you?
No, no. So all I can do is speculate.
Let's just say the unconscious chooses that. I don't. Right. Yeah. So you're saying the study indicated that the participants had unconsciously chosen which place to stop the light 6 seconds before they consciously chose it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would. If you can after this, find the link to the article. I'll post it I'll put it in the description if I can find it. I think that would be interesting.
I will attempt to do that. This was just something that was brought up. I remember from one day, freshman year in my philosophy class. So yeah. I will attempt to find it.
Yeah. I mean, perhaps. I don't know if we can safely say, because even if that's true for this one thing, I don't think we can safely say the unconscious is the choice in everything. And will it always be 6 seconds no matter the situation? Like if I'm deciding what do I want for dinner tonight?
I think it was average to be 6 seconds.
Yeah, sure.
And I had a similar thought to I think what you're having. I had asked, okay, well, let's say like I'm going and I'm like, oh, what should I have for lunch? And I go to the cafe and it turns out there's pizza. And I'm like, oh, I'll have pizza. 6 seconds before I said, oh, I want pizza, that wasn't an option. Like I didn't know that I could do that.
Yeah, let's say for example, you read the menu and then I don't know, how long does it take to read? How long does it take to read a short menu? Let's say 2 seconds.
I don't know, for you, it probably takes like 2 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. You can scan if it's like one of those big wooden signs that stand out or something. You can usually scan a menu you can scan the highlights of a menu like that in under a second, and you make the decision immediately after there. Clearly, the time gap there's not enough. There's less than 6 seconds in that gap. So, but the point still stands. You could say, oh well, the unconscious just chooses a split second before the conscious does, but. I don't know if I'm still not convinced that matters. Like when we talk about free will, we usually talk about do you have the choice or is the choice from an outside force? I would argue your unconsciousness is you, or at least part of you. So even if your choices are being made by your unconscious, you still are doing the choosing, just maybe not the part of you that you think it is.
Okay, well, think of it like this. So you would argue that if you have a mental disability, that is still part of you, correct?
Yeah, sure.
It's not an outside force. That's you internally.
Right.
So if you have like Tourette's, where you say things or move certain ways, would you say that person is choosing to do that? They are choosing.
I see your point. Yeah,
you're
right. Yeah, those things are.
No.
We would say usually those things are influencing their choices. Right.
Not even because it's an unconscious. Well, I didn't realize this until just now. It's an unconscious impulse that they don't really have a choice to engage or deny. Like, I mean, I have impulses at times. Like, I could want to eat a steak tonight for dinner. I probably do actually want to eat a steak tonight for dinner.
Yeah, but
and
even then,
whether or not I should indulge in that impulse.
Yeah, even then, we can, for example, breathing is an unconscious impulse, but we have the ability to use our conscious mind to override our unconscious. I mean, for breathing, obviously, you'll start breathing eventually, but you can temporarily hold your breath and override your subconscious, instinctive requirement to breathe, right?
Yes. Sorry, I'm trying to not die.
Yeah.
Run away!
I understand. So I'll monitor a little bit.
Not that way! Dang it. Okay. Yes. So you have the ability to stop some of your unconscious decisions. Like, even though I tried to when I was a child because I was dumb and didn't realize I would die, I tried to I was like, okay, I unconsciously breathe. My heart unconsciously beats. Maybe I could make that stop. And that'd be fun. Not realizing that would kill me and I would be I would cease to be.
Right. So not all your unconscious things, but some of them, like breathing is an obvious one. You can just choose to do at will. eating, for example, even if you have a desire to eat, you can use your consciousness to override that desire for a period of time and go. We call that fasting, where you choose not to eat even though you're hungry. So it is possible, without a doubt.
Yeah. But there are some things that it seems like the heart beating. I can't make that not happen.
Right.
So would you say that my heartbeat is in my control? Can I choose to not beat?
Right. I see what you're saying. So I think, and actually this gets back to a point I didn't mention earlier, but let's say, go back to your door analogy where there's two doors, one of them's locked, the other isn't. Now let's do scenario 2 where both doors are unlocked. So, and if you choose to go through the left door, you go through the left. If you choose to go through the right door, you go through the right. Did you make a choice this time? I think most people would say yes, correct?
Right.
So
I think that's oh no. I think that's what most people would say, correct.
Right. And for now, I think that's fair to argue. So I think where the conclusion we're coming to is free will isn't a blanket yes or no, on or off. Depending on the situation, you may have choices. Are you trying to cut down the tree?
No, I'm trying to get my bow out. I always forget how to do that.
Nope, not that button. It's, I believe, the right trigger. ZR, maybe? Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Do I have... Oh, right, I have my thing on. Okay.
Well, you're shooting the... Yeah. Let's see if you can shoot this guy. Nope.
Okay, I got this.
Oh,
I know, I hit him. I hit him.
You got him. Yeah, he's dead.
Who's the tough guy now?
You might want to go back and refresh your stamina before you drown. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make, the point I was making earlier, before we got distracted by your bows, was it seems like free will isn't, it's not universal, but it depends on the situation. So you do have freedom in some things and not in others.
Well, okay, so I think the point of the thought experiment is to highlight that yes, in the first scenario with one of the, or in the second scenario, we would say, oh yes, obviously this person had a choice. But then when it comes to the second scenario, the first scenario, where one option is barred off, we get the hint that, okay, maybe actually there was no choice involved. You can choose.
Oh, close up. Also, you're at like quarter of a heart. You want to heal?
Yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting that I can just do that. I can. Okay, I forgot how to get food.
Man tries to remember video game controls while discussing free will.
Nope. How do I get food? I thought it was the pause button.
Hold on. Go into the pause button. Again.
It's this thing.
R. No, maybe the other R. ZR.
Oh, there okay. Jerry, shut up. I know you're laughing.
It's okay. This is very important. We're talking about some very important philosophical ideas. Yeah. So, yes, we're saying... So, sorry, I interrupted you. What is the thought experiment trying to suggest?
I think the thought experiment is trying to suggest that... Oh, okay. Or, you could just die. That's an option. I think the thought experiment is trying to suggest that it brings in that doubt that all of a sudden we have that, okay, maybe they don't have free will in the first scenario, because you don't know prior to you making a decision that, like, one of the options is barred off. Like, you can't know that, oh, one of the doors is locked. Right? So...
True, and the only reason we can know that, like you and I and the audience, is because we have the sort of third-party, omniscient look at the scenario.
Exactly. Another thought experiment that comes up, that was brought up with this is, okay, let's say tomorrow is election day, and you're going to go vote for your candidate A or candidate B. And unbeknownst to you, in the middle of the night, an evil scientist sneaks into your bedroom, puts you to keeps you asleep, and implants a small device in your brain. And the device is set so that if you go to choose candidate A, so this is very important. If you go to choose candidate A, a split second before you choose, your brain will override your decision and make you choose candidate B.
Mm-hmm. I see what you're saying.
So then you go to the poll booth, you enter, and then you go to select candidate B. Did you choose candidate B?
I see.
Do you have a choice?
Yeah.
I don't think you did. Oh
again,
no!
I think this is coming back to it. I mean, this is a little muddier because we're manually editing your brain matter, which makes things a little weird. But I think this again comes down to the difference between intent versus ability. If that makes sense. Okay, got him. Oh, all right. You want to maybe shoot this guy?
Well, I'm trying to remember if I have fancy arrows. Do I have other arrows that I could use? Do I have bombs or?
Nope.
I've just got arrows. I don't think I can kill him. Can I kill him?
Yeah, for sure. Enough arrows.
With enough.
I think also if you shoot him in the head, it does extra damage. There you go.
Yay! I did it. Okay. Oh great! I'm gonna die because of this stupid wool thing. So yes, I don't think. So you're saying that messing with the brain matter somehow makes it worse?
Well, it makes it more complicated anyway. Like, do you have the intent? What happens if your intent is manually compromised from the outside? I don't know, but I think it's the same.
Thing is, like,
it's the same
the
principle.
important thing here is that it wasn't messed with.
Right.
Like you chose Canada B, so the device did nothing.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Or I shouldn't say you chose Canada B. Canada B is what you selected, but like that doesn't it doesn't. Yeah. No, so the device didn't alter anything. But it seems like for some reason did not choose Canada B. Like there's some level of doubt there now.
I see your I understand what you're saying. This is a good question.
Oh, I've only got how many do I have? Oh, I've got 5. Okay, I think I can kill them with 5. Famous last words. What you gonna do about it?
Get him. Now you can probably go in. Yep, there he's dead.
Awesome. Yes. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it seems like you don't have a choice.
Okay, I'm gonna do your favorite thing. What does choose mean? I think
really.
Justin, it seems like a lot of our debates really boil down to arguing what does a particular word mean, and if you define the word one way, we get one answer, and if you define it the other, we get the other. Here we are again. What does it mean to choose? Because that seems to be our current stickler, right? Does choosing require that? Does choosing require both the will and outcome? Or does it require just the will, or does it require just the outcome? Or what does it mean to choose something, or to choose not something?
In philosophy, we usually don't appeal to authority, but in this case, I'm going to do it because I love name dropping. Plato said, "Whatever is in your ability to do is also in your ability not to do." That's what choosing means. So the ability to do something.
The ability. Okay. Now let's define ability. No, I see your point. Yeah. So the question. So yeah, based on that definition of choose, do you have the ability to? Let's go back to the doors, because I think that's both the cleaner. That's one of the cleaner examples. Do you have the ability to go through the left? What is it? The door on the left is the locked one.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Do you have the ability to go through the locked door? And the answer is no. So in that case, you don't have the ability to choose. So, but, all right. So I think we can say for many of these scenarios, you don't have the ability to choose. Now, let's make the next jump. Is free will synonymous with ability to choose? Do those mean the same thing?
I think so. Okay, how many people are surrounding me right now? I'm missing something.
Yeah, there's a guy to your left. Yeah, see.
Let's eat some food, that way I don't die. Yes, so I think it is. I think that it's connected to your ability to choose to do something.
It's connected to it, certainly, but is it? Being connected to something and being that thing are not the same thing. So
I mean fair.
That's the other point I was at. That's similar to the point I was trying to make, at least with the mental impairments. Like if you have let's say you're under some mind-altering drug, that is connected to your ability to choose, but that doesn't necessarily mean the drug is your ability to choose. If that makes sense, I don't think that makes sense.
Okay, so like let's not use mind-altering drugs. Let's say hypnosis. When you're under hypnosis, would you say you choose what you do?
I don't actually know the psychology of quite how hypnosis works. That's why I was using. So that's why I was using drugs, which probably.
Oh, because you're more familiar with drugs.
I'm not going to comment on that one. No. But if, for example, if you're under a, let's even say a mental illness for.
Okay.
I don't know what.
Any
form of alcohol, mental illness, coffee, even any form of mind altering, anything that would alter your ability to choose. Now that exactly, even in the terminology I used, alter your ability to choose does not mean it is your ability to choose. You can't. If an outside force is altering something, that implies that if outside force A is altering B, that implies that A is not the same thing as B. There. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay, well, let's see. Okay, stop climbing trees.
Do you have the ability to climb?
Guys. This is really hard.
There's more health than the other ones.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna win, and you'll be dead. That's what's gonna happen. And Ganon will revive you at some point.
Yeah, well, that's yeah, exactly. Do you have the ability to kill him if he's just going to come back to life later?
Well, yes, I would have the ability. I would still have the ability to kill him.
What can I say?
The ability to permanently stop him from being. That I do not have. Okay, awesome. Now I got the stick. Who's got the stick now? Big shot. All right, so being connected and is not the same thing as yes. Okay, so it's definitely connected to your ability to choose, or your ability to choose is definitely connected to free will. And I don't know. Like I said, I know you were trying to not connect this to God too much, but I mean, like the whole point of the argument is usually about whether or not we as humans have free will in a theological sense.
Yeah.
And it seems like no, like that was the whole point of like God giving free will to humans, was that we could choose whether or not to follow him or whether or not we could choose to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. We had that ability, and that is what free will is the ability to choose to do something, whether it be right or wrong.
Right. It is interesting because again, for the audience, we're going to get a little more theological here rather than pure philosophy. Typically, in theology, we make a distinction between Adam and Eve had truly free will. Now, after the fall, after humans are innately born with a sin will, we call it. A lot of times, Paul calls it the flesh or the fleshly desire, or something similar. So
Right.
it is basically we are inclined toward evil innately and deeply, and the only way to remove that is salvation through Jesus, or believing in Jesus. So I believe, which theologian put it this way? Was it Augustine who said we have the complete free will to pick our own poison? So we are always going to sin. We just we get a will to pick what we sin. But again, that's getting more into the theological side of things, which I'm not going to say that complicates matters, at least. If we're talking because that gets into matters of what is sin, how does sin work? Do we have the ability to choose whether to sin or not to sin? I think if we're talking about truly, like, oh boy, here we are, ethically neutral options, like whether to go through the left door or the right door, it makes the problem simpler to begin with, which is why earlier on I was trying to stay away from theology, because, like I said, that does complicate the question a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I see why you say that. Oh, this has to do something, right?
It breaks the target.
There's a target. It has to do something. This game is designed. It's not arbitrary. This has to do something.
Perhaps these people just have targets hanging. Oh, you know what I think this is? Okay, follow. See this little road? Go. Yeah. Follow it to. Just. I think it's this little circle. I think this is like. Maybe a thing where you do a little mini game where you ride on a horse and try to shoot the targets or something.
Oh, I feel like it's in other games too, Zelda games. Yeah. That's a thing. Okay. Anyway, free will, using theology. I agree that it does in some way complicate it, but ultimately the argument is going to be the same, no matter how you put it. Like,
right? So, we're not really prepared, but I think it is time to address the big question: do humans have free will in general? Like we were talking about in specific examples. Those are I think bugs or something.
I thought if I hit them once, they'd go away.
Yeah, they went away.
Yay, honeycomb.
Yeah.
So do humans have free will in general, meaning do we have a choice in anything, or is everything predetermined?
Right. Which, yeah, because we were talking about it would be possible if free will existed in general for some things that we wouldn't have a choice. Like if you're in a tunnel and you can only go one direction in the tunnel, you don't have a choice in which direction to go. People who argue that free will does exist would not disagree that there are some points where you don't have a choice. But I think the important thing is, do you ever have a choice in anything?
Right. And it seems like, well, okay, like you said, like the only reason in the thought experiment that we can be like, oh yeah, like we know that the door is locked. We can't have that in real life though.
Right. Because in the thought experiment, we have third-party omniscient understanding of the situation.
Right. And you don't have that in everyday life.
Correct.
So I choose, like, from the person, from the woman walking into the door, right, choosing which door, she doesn't know which door is locked.
She doesn't even know that one of the doors is locked.
From her perspective, she would say, "Oh yes, I am definitely making a choice."
Correct.
And that's what we do every day. We're like, "Oh yes, I'm choosing to have, I don't know, cereal for breakfast." It's
right.
like, for all you know, all the eggs are expired.
This under the assumption that you can't have both cereal and eggs for breakfast.
Yes.
Okay. I disagree, but again, did I choose?
Not everyone eats an entire buffet for breakfast. Okay.
Look, pro tip for all you people and all your listeners out there: if you eat a big breakfast, you'll have enough energy to go through the day. If you don't eat anything until like noon, well, what are you gonna do between those early hours? Just eat air? I don't know.
Yes, that's what we
I don't understand. I don't understand people who can't eat or who don't eat breakfast. But besides the point, those people did make a choice. So yeah, I see your point. You could say, going under your assumption that you can have either eggs or cereal for breakfast and not have.
What? She's gonna fight me? What? How do I lock on again? How do I do that?
Nope.
Not that button.
Yeah, that button.
What? She vanished. Oh, she's there. This is like the Queen song. Now I'm here.
Yeah, you see me.
Alright, oh, food. I think this is kind of broken that you.
So let's say in your example you were saying, well, for all you know the eggs are expired. Well, what if the eggs aren't expired? Do you still have the choice? It seems that the answer is yes, right? Because you can choose either what's the opposite of stale? Non-stale? Fresh? The fresh cereal or the unexpired eggs. And, okay, you know what? Here we go. This is an interesting question now. Let's go back all the way to the very first thought experiment about the locked door. So, the woman walks through the right door, which is unlocked, never knowing that the left one is locked, correct?
Right.
Now, a little while later, let's say a few minutes later, the woman comes back and examines the doors and realizes that the door on the left is locked. And she can now retroactively realize, oh, the door on the left was locked. I didn't try to go through it, and I went through the right one. So can she retroactively say, I thought I had choice, but now I know that I don't? Or how does that work?
I think so. I think that's what you would say, right? It's like you would say like, oh, I didn't have a choice.
Right.
If there's only one option, like okay, altering the scenario. Let's say you walk into a building and there is one door. Can you choose which door to go in?
No.
You don't have a choice. So then,
correct.
To her, effectively, she didn't choose to go in that door. There wasn't an option, and you would say, "Oh, I guess I had to go through this door." You wouldn't say, "Oh, I could have gone through another door."
Right. The illusion. So is the illusion? So if you're saying you perceive you have a choice, does that matter whether or not the choice? Does the perception affect whether or not the choice exists? I guess. Because she believes, the woman going through the door believes she has a choice, but we don't know. But she doesn't.
Mighty bananas. It's not regular. Finally, I get some money. Jeez. This poor boy's been broke.
Hey, and you have a cooler weapon now. It does like 16 damage as opposed to the 5 damage one you're using.
Yeah. So yes. So does the illusion of choice make a difference?
Yeah. Let's not use illusion. Does the perception of choice make a difference?
Okay. So.
Because we're saying she perceived she had a choice, but we as the impartial third-party observers perceive that she doesn't, and we'll say we have the objective truth in the matter.
Right. Well, okay. I hate to say this, but I think you're just rephrasing the question. That is the question.
Oh, well, in that case, it's probably. What?
Like it does. I don't know. I was trying to blow up all the boxes. I did it.
All right.
I got a baked apple out of it. What did you get? Nothing.
Wait, there was another one, right? Okay. I mean, this is true.
And I'm gonna eat one. Me too. Me all three.
Yeah. Maybe that is restating the question, but in that case, I think it's important to restate it because I didn't quite understand that's what the question was getting at the beginning. So, for those of you in the audience who see things like me, that's what we've been talking about for the last minute or so, or not minute, 46 minutes.
All right. So the question is, we as her as the person in the thought experiment believes she has a choice.
Correct.
We, outside of the thought experiment, know that she does not. Correct. So the question is, does she, is that the case for us every day in real life? Like choosing to go over here and get this meat.
Let me ask the third-party, impartial, omniscient observer. I mean, that would be God, but... oh boy, I think Justin, I think we've come to the same conclusion again. We can't know anything unless God tells us. I feel like I don't know why. I feel like we end up at this conclusion pretty frequently.
I think it's our bias as Christians.
Understand? Agreed. But so yeah,
and I've had time to pre-think this, and this is just the conclusion that I've come to in general.
So your point you're asking is, let's say, I believe the Bible generally does, even if it doesn't use the word free will, the Bible gives the pretty clear impression that we do have the ability to choose. Most religions, I can't think of a major religion that would say, no human ever has the ability to choose anything, at least no existing major religion. So most religions that claim to have access to this omniscient third party, i.e. God, say that there is free will. But if you don't even want to use that, let's say we didn't have access to that, the question would be, well, I believe I have freedom to choose, but do I know that I have freedom to choose? Is that right?
Well, I don't think the knowledge is exactly important. We don't have to know that we can choose. It's just...
Well, that's effectively what you're asking, right? Okay, fine. I believe I have the ability to choose, but do I really have the ability to choose? Is that the question?
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't have to be the woman in the scenario has to know that she has the ability to choose. The question is merely, can she choose?
Right. And
we know that she can't. But the question is that if that is the case, maybe that's a good distinction. If it is the case that she doesn't have the ability to choose, does she still have free will?
Right.
And if she does, then then we can have free will. It's possible. We could do it. Whether or not we actually have it, who knows? But it's possible.
Right.
But if you contend that no, she does not have free will. She is merely, it's predetermined, and she didn't actively choose to go through the right door. Then for all you know, you don't have free will. It's very hard to argue that oh yes, we do have free will.
Well, again, this is okay. Remember, let's go back to the discussion again, or the thought experiment again. This woman walks through the second set of doors, both of which are unlocked. She believes she has the ability to choose, and we, as the third-party observers, know she has the ability to choose. So does she have does she have free will and freedom of choice in this particular experiment? I think we would say yes, right?
Yes, exactly.
So that's exactly what I said a little while ago. Free will isn't universal, or freedom of choice isn't universal. It depends on the situation. So we would say in some scenarios, yes, she does. In other scenarios, she doesn't. So,
right.
And then we could theoretically apply that to our life. Now, the tricky part would be which is which.
Right, because I think the question here is I really haven't done anything this episode really. Oh no, that's not true. I finished the thing. I did the side quest.
Yeah. We are anyone watching, we are moving through this game very slowly. I understand. Like, for those of you who have played Breath of the Wild, like, I would say, Justin, the 4 divine beasts, those are like the 4 main story quests, and you've only like barely started on any of. You haven't even really started on any of them, so we are still in the game's infancy. Yeah, but that's what this game is all about.
No,
this game isn't about rushing to the bosses. It's about exploring, wandering around, blowing yourself up with, blowing yourself up, cooking apples, just vibing, to use the common vernacular. So, we got a little sidetracked. When we said the difference is we don't know which scenarios we truly do have the ability to choose and which ones we don't. Is that correct?
So, without trying to get into epistemology, because we've determined we don't know, like we can't know anything, basically. Without getting into it, the question is it possible? I guess is a good way of putting it. Like, can we have free will?
Yes.
It's like we agree that we can never know, right? That whether or not like one of the doors is locked, right? Prior to examining them, we can't know that one of the doors is locked. So can we say, oh yeah, we could have free will? I'm choosing to which combination of food I'm putting into the thing. Can I choose that, or is it something that is predetermined and I just don't know it?
Yeah. Well, hold on. We actually, you're right. My bad. I was going to say we haven't been talking about predetermined, i.e. determinism, but kind of have. So, to expand this out from doors and stuff, you could expand this out into say, well, if everything is predetermined, perhaps the physical, like the way your neurons are firing in your brain to make you choose the right door, or the door on the right, is predetermined based on the way that you were born and the way that you were raised and the way that your environment and you can trace everything back. We call this mechanical determinism, where everything, like the universe is effectively a cosmic machine. Everything moves because it has been moved. Nothing can be freely chosen. And everything is determined from everything's outcome is determined from its inputs, and there is no variation.
Exactly.
Which, if you think about it that way, is a very bleak, soulless idea of the universe.
It is. And, that's why, teenagers listen to My Chemical Romance.
That is one reason, yeah. But even then, it's kind of like a weird argument to say that, it's a weird argument to say, I believe that everything is determined based on inputs, because then you can turn around and say, well, then so is that belief. You don't really believe that. You just are a machine that...
No. You would still say that you believe that. That's a fact. That you would just say, I don't choose to, like, it's not a choice. I have to believe this.
Right.
And then once you say that, this is like, because we love ethics on this channel, that brings in the question is like, okay, fine. If you contend that, if you really believe that the world is a machine, it's just like, what are those machines called where like you like knock over dominoes and then somehow it makes your eggs like...
Rube Goldberg machine?
Yeah, Goldberg machine. If that's what the universe is, then can you really tell murderers that like they deserve to be punished?
Right.
Can you do that? I don't think you can. Mm-hmm. I think that if you want to say that everything is just...
Well, yeah, if everything...
results.
Because the entire point of ethics is choosing to do the right thing or choosing to do the wrong thing. But if choice doesn't exist, well, then we can throw ethics out. Now we won't be needing that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finally, we've had an advancement in philosophy.
Would that be an advancement, or would that be a retraction?
It would be progress in knowing something further, because we would gain knowledge.
My question is, would that be progress, or would that be regress? But I see your point. It would be a change.
Yes.
They definitely be HH.
Unlike what we've been experiencing for like years.
But if we're talking about mechanical determinism like this, like true universal mechanical determinism, it is interesting because it is one of those arguments that you can't effectively disprove. Like any evidence you could give to disprove it, determinists can turn around and say, well, you just think that because you were determined to, or you just... So I personally, this is getting into, I guess this is kind of epistemology, but I'm of the opinion, if you have an argument that cannot be disproven by any method conceivable, then, well, I don't know what to say. It's not really an argument. It's just, to use a religious word, faith. Because, you see what I mean?
Or it's true. There's another word for that. It could be just true. If you can't disprove my argument, then, and the argument is valid and sound.
Right, but, for example...
It seems like, no, you're just saying...
No, but the point I'm trying to make is, let's use a valid and sound argument, like, say,
if you are in Malibu, then you're in California. I'm in Malibu, therefore I'm in California.
Yes, I could say, all right, that is both valid, as in the argument form works, and sound, as in all the ingredients are true. I could conceive of a way that it would not be true. If, for example, Malibu was actually located in Florida, I can conceive of that world. That's not the case, but I could conceive of how that argument could be wrong, right? I could and you could show me evidence, theoretically, to show that argument is wrong. But determinism, to my understanding, you couldn't show any evidence that it was wrong because you would just say, oh, well, it's determined to be that way. And you couldn't even, you couldn't conceive of a way to disprove it. How about that? I can conceive of a way to disprove that if you are in Malibu, then you are in California.
Oh, no. It's alive. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. And we have a word for this. They're called conspiracy theories, and this is why conspiracy theories... This actually came up in one of my classes. This is why conspiracy theories work the way they do, and why it's like... Oh, hell, do I have the weapons necessary to beat this guy?
Maybe.
No, I don't. Oh, okay, wait, now I've got this thing. That does some damage, right? That's a big boy.
Sure.
It's worth a shot. All right. Anyway.
Probably, I think it doesn't look like he can move, so you could probably, like, run out, shoot him, and then run back behind if you wanted to do this slowly.
Yeah, but I've only got 11 arrows, so...
I think if you hit it in the eye, it does extra damage. Yeah, and also if you hit it in the eye, it, like, does it. Yeah, you got this, Uh-oh. Maybe you don't have this. Hey, you're safe.
You doubted me.
All right,
anyway,
very nice. Very nice. So yeah, we were talking about conspiracy theories.
Right, so the conspiracy theories, the idea of a conspiracy theory is that it has to fit all of the known knowledge, right? It has to account for all the same things that, like, the non-conspiracy... Oh no. Woo! All the non-conspiracy theory explanations. It has to account for all the same data, like the Earth is flat. Jerry, type in the comments. You can explain it. They have to provide an explanation for literally everything else that we experience, right? They can't, like, ignore parts of it and then be like, oh, yeah, no, that's just not true. Like, they don't deny that there are 4 seasons, or that, you know... Oh, what? Okay, the sickle was not as cool as I thought.
I mean, it was. It just broke.
So, they can't do that. And so, like, in the same way, like, you're describing, like, that kind of theory, where... You're explaining something, but the explanation is... I'm trying to kill him and think at the same time.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
Take your time. So I think that being said, like, that's what we're questioning here. Is like, can you have a theory? Actually, I think it's time to go. So now that I'm babbling, it's probably a good time to cease and move on. But I think that you're saying that, like, it sounds like a conspiracy theory at this point, where if you have something that you can't disprove it, you're basically just you have the same qualifications as a...
Yeah, the mark of a conspiracy theory is, despite you don't incorporate evidence to the negative. You just you say, oh well, you dismiss any evidence out of hand. So for example, the Earth is flat. You could say evidence of, all right, well, here's evidence of a photo, rather than accepting that as a valid way the Earth could be round. You say, no, it's faked. I could say, all right, well, you can use mathematics to show if when the sunshine shines here at a certain point. I think Archimedes proved that the Earth was round and like measured it to really accurately. It was quite impressive. But you can use mathematics and show, based on where the light hits at certain times, you can measure the size of the Earth and show that it's round. The conspiracy theory mindset is that, no, it's not possible. It's a sort of assuming the result before you take the evidence. Now, for example, I don't think the Earth is round, but I could conceive of a way to prove that the Earth is flat. Like, if you were to take me to space and show me the flat Earth, I could conceive, okay, that's a way to show it. That's not correct, but I could conceive of a way, I could acknowledge of a way that I could be proven wrong. A conspiracy theory, or in this case, mechanical determinism, you can't even try to prove it wrong, because anything you would try to say against it, would just be incorporated under. It's part of determinism. You heard it here, folks. Mechanical determinism, just a conspiracy theory, bro.
Yep. Same level of authenticity.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't think we ever really answered, do we have free will exactly? But we came to the conclusion that to try to prove
is trash.
Yeah, mechanical determinism is trash, and it seems like we have free will. Maybe not everywhere we think we do, but at least in some places we do. And to try to say you never have free will anywhere is kind of a rough argument to make, because it's like we just spent the last few minutes talking about.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Well, I implore you all to choose to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell. Do all the YouTube things.
Exactly. I think we should come back to this topic, because free will is obviously a major topic in philosophy, and we only scratched the surface with today's discussion. Like I said earlier, we didn't even get it. We got into a little bit. We didn't really get into the theological implications of, is it possible to choose salvation, etc., etc. We could talk more about mechanical determinism. Like here, because we're running out of time, we kind of dismissed it out of hand because it's just it's an argument that it's not a good argument, but we could spend more time considering if it is possible and what the implications of that would be, because it is. I think it is, in theory, a possible world. See, that's my point. Like, I could conceive of a way to prove that free will doesn't exist if you took me outside the universe and showed me how mechanical determinism is the case. But yeah. So yeah, we will definitely come back to free will and the many related fun topics about that at a future point. I don't know when. We don't plan these things ahead of time. See, we don't plan these things ahead of time, so it's not determined. So we have the free will to choose which topic we want.
Exactly. All right.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah. Like Justin said, like, comment, subscribe. See you next week.